Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two Fat Buds podcast. This is the first evening for us. This is our, uh, what am I trying to say, Lee? This is our
It's our first go at this ever.
first show at this.
Yeah.
Yes. And my name is Skunk Al, and this is my partner. Go ahead
Lee
and
Hacker.
introduce yourself. Yes. And we are Two Fat Buds. Uh, what we're doing is we are going to try and educate everybody and advocate for the medical marijuana and the marijuana industry itself. Um, we want to talk about states that are coming up, passing medical marijuana, legalizing marijuana for uh, help me out there, Lee. I missed a word.
Legalizing marijuana for recreational use in all states is what we're pushing for.
Thank you. Yes.
Federally and statewide is what we want.
Yes. So we'll be getting some medical information. We have a lot of things planned, actually. We have owners of dispensaries lined up. We may have growers lined up. We have professionals in the field lined up for interviews. It should get really interesting. So, Lee, let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
When was the first time that you smoked weed? Do you remember?
Yep. I was in the womb and I rolled. No, I'm kidding. I was 14 years old, actually. First time I smoked weed. One of my buddies from school lived across the street from the school.
Mm-hmm.
And we skipped school together, me, him, and two other cats. And went over to his house because I can't remember what the year was, but Spaceballs had just came out on VHS. It was a rental, and he rented Spaceballs the night before. We had this planned out to skip school to watch Spaceballs because we knew Spaceballs was going to be the funniest movie ever. And we get over there, and one of the guys pulls out a joint and said, "Hey, let's smoke this." And I was one out of the whole group that never smoked it before, and I'm like, "Why not? Let's try this." So we smoked the joint and watched Spaceballs and laughed our asses off.
That's awesome.
That's what made Spaceballs one of my favorite movies ever. Is the fact that I was so high when I watched it that it was hilarious.
It gives
the first time I ever smoked was when I was about 14 years old.
Yeah.
What about you,
Al? With me, let me see. I was probably around the same. We had a couple guys, couple friends of mine. One of my best friends, well, actually, four of my best friends. We didn't have actual marijuana. We had hash. And we smoked that. We coughed our butt off. Didn't do much. We were by the tracks doing our thing. And that was the last time that I smoked it until like 5 years ago. With my life, I spent basically my entire life in the medical profession. And I couldn't smoke it. With my nursing license, with the military, of course, it was zero tolerance. And my licensures meant more to me than anything else at the time. So it wasn't until I think 2015 that I actually started getting back into it with a medical marijuana.
Okay. So, my experience was very similar to yours. Mm-hmm. I smoked a little bit when I was a teenager. I wound up going in the Army. Spent some time in the military as an MP of all things. So I was definitely not doing weed when I was in the military. Got out of the military and kept on stayed kind of in the field of security. And weed wasn't a part of my life at all because of drug testing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe I just wasn't smart enough at that age to know that you could pass drug tests with the synthetic urine or any of the cleanse chemicals that they had out there and stuff. I just stayed away from it. Weed. I mean, I didn't hang out with weed smokers really at all. Anything. It wasn't until I had an accident, and my doctor put me on narcotics. And I'm not gonna lie, I tell the story all the time on my TikTok that I enjoyed the narcotics more than I should have, and it scared the crap out of me because I have a very addictive personality. Yes. So I went to my doctor and I said, "Hey, so I can't do this anymore. You can't give me no more of these." He goes, "What are you gonna do for your pain?" I said, "Well, I lived in Washington State at the time, and they had medical marijuana, so I'm gonna try medical marijuana for my pain." And I've been a medical marijuana patient ever since. This was 9 years ago, so 2014.
Very close to the same time that I started.
Yep.
Why do you smoke now?
For pain relief. I suffer from chronic pain. It helps me quite a bit with pain relief. I also have PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And it helps me a little bit with the head stuff that's going on. So I smoke I don't smoke to get high. I smoke to find relief for my pain in my back and my legs and stuff. And that's why I believe in medical marijuana, because it does help me with that. Another thing that not so much I smoke it for, if anyone knows what Rick Simpson oil is, RSO, I'm on an RSO regimen where I take a little bit every day because 2 years ago, I was told that I was in stage 4 kidney failure, kidney disease. And within 6 months, I would be on dialysis for the rest of my life.
Good Lord.
I started taking RSO on a daily basis as a regimen. 6 months go by. I go to visit my doctor expecting him to tell me, hey, this is what you need to do. Start getting ready for dialysis, stuff like that. And, I went and did the lab work before the doctor appointment. And when I went in the doctor's appointment, he asked me, he goes, "What are you doing different?" I said, "Different." I said, he goes, "What'd you change in your diet? Did you start exercising? What's going on?" I said, "Well, I'm too fat to change my diet. I'm too old I'm setting my ways. I'm not changing my diet. I hurt too much often to exercise." I said, "But I started taking RSO." He goes, "RSO, what's that?" And I told him, "It's Rick Simpson oil. It's an extract of cannabis." He goes, "Whatever you're doing, it's working because you are no longer in stage 4. You're down in stage 3. A year after that, because I was in stage 3, I only had to go back and see him a year. I'm now in stage 2.
That's excellent.
So RSO has actually helped heal my diseased kidneys to where they're functioning back to a stage 2 instead of being ready to be put on dialysis.
It's amazing what this stuff can do medically, totally amazing. I smoke for the very same reasons, basically. Pain relief. It's really bad whenever nothing else gets rid of your pain, and this stuff you can smoke a little bit of it and it just washes over your body and takes away all the pain. Well, most of the pain, not all the pain. Now, what type of marijuana do you like to smoke, and why?
I prefer an indica. It seems that the indicas, the in the couch, are the more relaxing, and they seem to help me a little bit better with pain relief. There are a couple of sativa strains that I enjoyed that I did find had the correct terpenes for it, but for the most part, the indica I found gave me a better balance of both. What goes on in my head with my PTSD and depression and stuff, and also gives me a good balance for the pain relief in my back. So I am a indica, not a hybrid, not a sativa. I prefer straight indica. And most people say, "Oh man, I smoked so much indica, I couldn't get off the couch. It made me lazy." I get it. But when you're smoking for medical purposes, you just learn to overcome, at least adapt and overcome that whole couch lock thing. And I function on a regular day-to-day basis, constantly smoking indica, which puts most people on the couch.
Absolutely. I smoke indica as well. I tried sativa and it made me really jittery. I don't drink coffee either, and the one time I tried to drink coffee in the military, man, I'll tell you what, that sativa was just like that, only times 100. I had mental clarity like unlike anything else, but the jitters, the anxiety, yeah, that's not good for me. So I do indica, um, and same thing. I don't do it to get high. I do it just to get pain relief. Um, if I get a little bit of high doing it, that's a nice side effect. But yes, there are.
I
Go
did
ahead.
not know you. I did not know you did not drink coffee. I also don't drink coffee because I don't like the way it gives me the jitters.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
I'm the same way on most sativas. Girl Scout Cookie and ATF, also known as Alaskan Thunderfuck, are the two sativas that I found helps me with pain and doesn't make me all jittery.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, they're hybrids, but they're sativa leaning hybrids. And those are the only two I've ever found that I can smoke and actually function on. The rest of the sativas I've tried, I am wired.
Oh yeah.
Just totally, my hands get trembling. My mind is racing on it, and I can't function on the stuff, man. I really can't.
Yep.
But give me a good indica, and I'm calm.
Yep.
I'm more
Focus,
relaxed.
Whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's an amazing plant that unfortunately big pharma, and without getting political, our government has decided is not good for you because they can't make money off of it. Now they're figuring out a way to make money off of it through the states. That's why states are going medical, going recreational, getting the taxes from it. We just need the federal to drop it from a Schedule 1 narcotic lower than what that is. I mean, according to the government, weed is as bad for you as heroin and cocaine.
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely. It's insane what they're saying. And that's some of the stuff that we're trying to prevent is all the stigma about marijuana and all the poor publicity about marijuana. There's a lot of stuff out there, man, that sends chills up and down your spine over it. Excuse me. Whenever we get medical marijuana in our states, what's the process like? Is it an easy process in your state, or is it difficult to get your card, your medical marijuana card?
Let me tell you, when Washington went medical and I got my medical card, obviously with my chronic pain and my injuries and stuff, I qualified, no question. But the state was not regulating the medical marijuana at the time. It was like the Wild West. I actually was going to farmers markets where people had 6-foot tables set up and had jars and jars of weed, slabs of dabs, bongs, whatever it is you needed to partake in your medicine. You could just walk around, sample there on the spot. And when you find something that you like, then you would talk to them, negotiate the price, and buy whatever it was that they had. I was also lucky in Washington State to be able to grow my own medicine. Not all states do that. And I think all states should do that. It should be permitted to grow up to 6 plants per patient. So that we can get our medicine. Yeah, what I think the state should do is if you're going to grow, you should pay a fee, say $100 a year to grow, to get a growing license. I paid my first year with a medical card in Washington State. I paid, I think it was $150 for my card. When I moved from Washington to Ohio hadn't had medical yet. It was voted in, but they hadn't had it yet. So there was no dispensaries or anything, but you could still get your medical card. And I went and got my medical card. It was $350. That blew my mind, that going from one state for $150 for medical to do the exact same thing was $350. I was not prepared for that, honestly. And then, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It was definitely a sticker shock.
Oh, definitely. And then when they did get the first dispensaries, Ohio, the way the laws are, they limited how many dispensaries they can have in the whole state.
Oh my.
Well, when you're in a city like Cincinnati, where it's well populated, but you only got 3 dispensaries that are open, they set their prices to whatever they want because people are going to come and pay for it because they're going to want their marijuana. I was paying when Ohio got their first dispensary, I was paying, I think it was $3.60 an ounce. Out the door, $360 for an ounce. Sticker shock again. I wasn't ready for that. When I lived in Washington, I was paying anywhere from $100 for a low end to $200 for a high end shelf medical marijuana. Mm-hmm. Now my sons who still live in Washington tell me, Dad, for $30 rec, taxes and everything, I'm getting an ounce.
Wow.
Why can't every state be as cheap as that, please?
Exactly. Absolutely. I know Pennsylvania is similar to it. I think the first time I went to the doctor, and you can't go to your own PCP, you have to go to a special doctor.
Yep.
It was like $200, and then I had to pay the state $50 for the card. And this was yearly. Thankfully, Pennsylvania lowered the doctor price, I believe, in half. It's down to $100 now. But still, you have $150, a year just to get legal. And then the dispensaries, we couldn't buy an ounce whenever they first opened up. You could only get an eighth, which is 3.5 grams, or a quarter, which was 7 grams.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. And your 7 grams were like $80 for that. And the 3.5 was like $45, $50. It was insane.
Sticker shock again.
Absolutely.
Complete sticker shock.
Absolutely.
So Ohio, the way that they have it set up is you actually have a prescription that's good for 90 days. And then it renews after every 90 days. During those 90 days, you're allotted, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 grams a day.
Oh, wow.
So when you buy an ounce, that's 28 grams. Mm-hmm. You just covered 14 days worth of smoke.
Absolutely.
So if you're a heavy smoker like I am, that ounce isn't going to last you 14 days. It was lasting me 7 days because I was coming from Washington State where I was paying less and able to smoke more for my pain. So I had to learn to accept my pain more and smoke less because of my finances.
Yes.
I couldn't afford to keep on buying ounces at a time at that price. And I ran out my first 90 days. I ran out halfway through the 90 days because I was buying so much at a time. So I'm like, whoa, I had to learn the system. I had to understand the system, the whole 9 yards to stay legal. Now, granted, could I have went and got a local florist to hook me up? Yep, sure could have. And when I messed up my first 90 days, I had to do that. But I am trying to stay legal with it. So I'm going to the dispensaries. Prices, thankfully, after 3 years have come down. I'm still paying a little bit over $200 for an ounce, which to me is still ridiculous.
Same here.
It's stupid.
It is.
Like I said, when my boys out in Washington State are buying ounces for $30 out the door, taxes, recreational, why can't the other states be the same way? We have a mutual friend in Michigan.
Yes, we do.
Paying $50 an ounce.
Yes. And it's insane. It truly is insane. So that's a downside of it, is the cost of everything. It is a little expensive. Let me see. How do you normally take it? You take it by inhalation or the RSO, the Rick Simpson oil. You take that by mouth, and it tastes really nasty sometimes. How do you overcome the nastiness?
So what I do is I take a toothpick and I dip it in my RSO because my RSO comes in a container instead of a syringe.
Mhm.
And I get about the size, a little bit bigger than an average dab on
Mhm.
in that toothpick.
Mhm.
I grab my drink. I take that toothpick. I put it as far back on my tongue as I can, and I roll it to wipe it off. And I take a drink of my drink and I try and swallow it like a pill as fast as I can.
Okay.
That's how I have to take my RSO. Even after being on it for a year, anyone out there that's watching this has never had RSO, picture grabbing a fresh nug off of a plant, putting it in your mouth, and just chewing on it.
Yep.
And that's what it tastes like. It tastes like pure plant.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it works so well, and it has so many good things about it. So okay.
I mentioned a minute ago that we have mutual friends.
We do have mutual friends. Yeah.
Let me say this. Our mutual friends are from the same organization that they're not sponsoring us, but they are in partnership with us, which is 420 Campfire.
Yep.
420 Campfire is a group page on Facebook that is also a nonprofit. So if you check the bottom of the ticker there, it says check out 420campfire.com shop. If you do go there and you decide to purchase something, all the proceeds from that go to help homeless vets. That's what the nonprofit does to help homeless vets. Mm-hmm. And you're a member of that. I'm one of the original founding admins of that. You're a moderator. Yep. That's how we got to really know each other, even though
absolutely
we kind of met on TikTok.
We did,
of all places.
Many years ago. Oh my.
Well, you started following me a while back, but we actually never met until virtually. I can't remember whose live it was in. You were in a box and I was in a box.
Yep.
Was it Roy and Chris's?
Yes. Yeah, the 200,000 likes.
That's exactly what it was. No, it was Kenny Boy's show. The Kenny Boy show is who it was. Kenny Boy.
Yeah.
If you guys are on TikTok, you can find me, Lee Hacker. Skunk Owl, I believe, is your handle on TikTok.
Absolutely.
Kenny Boy is also another cannabis creator on TikTok that I went and did a smoke-a-thon with him to get 200,000 likes, and that's where I met Skunk Owl. Yep. And during that, I was speaking of the 420 Campfire and inviting people to the group, and Al joined the group, and we have virtual smoke sessions, such as what we're doing right here, me and you talking like this in the rooms. And it is a great place where like-minded people come and get together and virtually smoke together and bullshit and talk.
Absolutely.
And I don't know about you, but I feel a lot of those people are our family.
Absolutely.
One big family that we've grown.
I know before I became active in the room or in the group, it was tough because I'm the only one that has medical marijuana in my household. My wife does not enjoy it, so I always had to smoke alone, and whenever I did get to smoke with somebody else, I was always excited and exuberant because, hey, finally, I get to smoke with somebody else that has the same stuff. And then I found a group that you guys founded, and I'll tell you what, it's one of the best things out there. The camaraderie is second to none. There's no politics, no nothing. It's just go and enjoy each other, have conversations, be respectful with each other, and we can have a good time. We just smoke together. We call a campfire. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 campfire, and everybody takes a puff. So it's the people there definitely made a difference in my life for the positive. And I like to think that we are part of that. We make differences in everyone's lives every day.
I believe so. I honestly believe that 100% in my heart.
I do too.
100%. Yeah, my adventure started with TikTok. And I grew the following that I grew. And when we started the group, I immediately went to TikTok and said, hey, if you want to actually come and smoke with me, you've been following me for a while now, and you watch my lives. I was doing lives all the time on there, but I couldn't smoke on camera. And I was telling people, if you want to come and virtually smoke with me, join this group. Join the 420 Campfire on Facebook. Let me tell you, there are so many people that come in there that were following me or following Mike, the other founder, that were just excited and to be able to actually smoke with the people that they've been watching on TikTok for a year or two.
Absolutely.
You know, I get people all the time, new people that'll come in and they'll be like, hey, you're Lee from TikTok, right? Yep, that's me.
Yep.
That's me. And I'm a normal person just like you are. You want to smoke? Yeah, let's smoke together.
Absolutely.
You know, and you build up a camaraderie based off of that.
Absolutely.
So 420 Campfire is the Facebook group page. If you want to join or go to the shop, like it says at the bottom there, 420campfire.com/shop, and check out what we have for merchandise. If you look behind me, this big old medical flag that I have, it says the only part of it you can read right there. It says 420 Camp. That is one of the flags I actually helped design along with Mike. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough about this group. As a matter of fact, Al, if I'm not mistaken, our next podcast that we do, we're going to interview the other admin with 420 Campfire and let them discuss how medical marijuana has affected their lives. And, or, you know, I've always said it doesn't matter if you're a medical marijuana patient or a rec patient. As long as you're putting the THC in your body, it is healing you without you realizing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're going to bring them in a week or so when we do our next podcast and interview them and see how cannabis has affected their lives. Mama D has an amazing story that I love to hear when she talks about it. Gigi is a great lady that I love dearly in the group. And Mike, one of the original founding members, will tell you that he's been smoking probably since he was in a diaper.
I know. He's told me quite a few stories, actually.
So, hey, if you're out there watching this right now, like we said, this is our first podcast. Neither one of us have ever done anything like this. Hopefully, over the next few weeks, you know, it might look a little different, or it might seem a little different, or sound a little different. We're gonna try to do our thing. But if you have any suggestions on what you would like to see on this podcast, as you can see there, it says twofatbuds@gmail.com. That is our email address. Please email us and let us know what you think about, you know, what we should do up, maybe change up, or this is going to be on YouTube. So there'll be comments available on YouTube. Put in the comments, hey, you know, if you know anyone in the cannabis industry, whether they're a bud tender, a grower, someone that owns a dispensary, glass blowers that blow pipes and bongs. I would love to talk to a glass blower.
Oh yeah.
And discuss with them, you know, the different techniques that they have to use to make outstanding glass. So if you have any suggestions, stuff like that, please hit us up either in the comments or send us an email right there at twofatbuds@gmail.com.
Yep. And we will be having this podcast on YouTube, on
Facebook,
on not Twitch. What's the gaming one?
Well, that'd be Twitch, but we're not putting the podcast on Twitch yet.
No, we're doing it on Steam, correct?
No, Steam is for gaming, where you download the games and stuff.
All right. Well,
no.
I
for right now, it's going to be on Facebook and YouTube. That's okay. For right now, it's going to be on Facebook and YouTube is where we're going to be. And we have the YouTube channel, which most of you, hopefully that's how you find us. If not, it is Two Fat Buds. It is pretty easy to find because we are Two Fat Buds.
Absolutely.
So, hey, Al, I'm
Yes,
losing
sir.
the time here, and we're trying to keep this about a 30-minute podcast. We don't want to bore anyone too much, but
Absolutely.
I do want to make sure we're educational. So why don't we start discussing our medical part of what you found?
Absolutely.
And we'll wrap it up after that.
All right. This comes from the National Institute of Health. There are, if you look up facts about marijuana, it will direct you to that site. And believe it or not, one of the biggest questions that I get all the time is about secondhand smoke. Can you fail a drug test from secondhand smoke? And it's possible, yes. In order for it to be possible, you have to be directly in front of someone, inhaling it directly from them in order for it to do any effect on you. What the National Institute of Health says is it's possible, but it's very unlikely. Believe it or not, whenever we exhale the smoke, there is a very small percentage of THC inside of the exhaled smoke. For one, if you're at a concert or something like that where they're pumping the smoke in, it's possible. I would avoid, certain concerts. But if you're at home and you're in the same room as somebody and you're trying to medicate, as long as you're not blowing it in that person's face, there is no chance that they can pass a drug test.
No chance they would fail a drug test, you mean?
Yeah, or fail a drug test.
Yes, they would definitely pass that drug test.
Yes. Even if there was THC found in the blood, it wouldn't be enough to fail a test. And that is directly from the National Institute of Health. I had an incident last year where somebody came up. I was outside, open air, smoking, and someone come up and said, what about the people that have to work? You have to put that out. You can't do that here, and this and that. Open air. Boy, I'll tell you what, there's no chance in open air to get secondhand smoke. Even if
they would have to be right in front of you and doing what we call shotgunning. At least that's what I've always called it, is where you inhale and you blow the smoke in their face and they inhale at the same time.
Yeah. Yep. And
that's crazy.
Yes, it is. And I want to do stuff like that. I want to tell, different health facts about marijuana. That's one of them. And there's a lot of facts out there, guys. So if there's anything you would like to hear, let us know. Email us, 2fatbuds. That would be number 2, FATBUDS @gmail.com. We are going to cover as many bases as possible. It's like, how do we partake of this? You got vapes, you have bongs, you have pipes, there you have a dab straw. There are many different ways. Joints, yes.
Blunts. You can vape your herb in a vaporizer.
Absolutely.
You can partake of dabs.
Yeah.
There's many different ways you can do it. RSO. Is it edible? You can do edibles.
Yep.
Hell, did you know they have THC suppositories for people that can't do edibles and stuff?
I believe I do. Yes.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing. Not encouraging anyone to go out and try and find one, but it is available.
Yes, definitely. Well, both of us were talking about this before we started. How are we going to talk for 30 minutes? And
we're 34 minutes into this right now.
Absolutely.
And it kind of went pretty fast. So I think that's the way to do it.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
If you're out there watching this right now, we are going to release our videos every Friday on our YouTube channel. Hopefully by noon. We're stoners. Some of us sleep in, some of us don't. But yeah, so please hit the subscribe button so you know when our next videos will be coming out. And Al, thank you so much for your time this evening. It's been great talking with you.
Absolutely.
Next time we do this and we meet up, it's going to be a completely different show because we're going to be talking about something completely different. But everything's always going to be based around marijuana.
Absolutely.
All
Stay
righty,
lifted, folks.
We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Uh-huh.